Dear students, greetings to all. In this module, we'll be continuing with our ongoing chapter 4, Animal Kingdom. About the last phylum we'll be discussing in this module, that is the phylum Chordata. When we talk about this phylum, that is Chordata, chordates have four fundamental features. They exhibit the presence of notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, paired pharyngeal gill slits, and the fourth important characteristic is that they possess a post-anal tail for balancing. Now, notochord may be present throughout the life or only during the embryonic development. It is a rod-like structure located between the nerve cord and digestive tube. In vertebrates, the notochord is replaced by vertebral column. The notochord basically it is a stiff flexible rod. These organisms, the other characteristics include that they are triploblastic, they have the coelomic cavity, so therefore they are true coelomate. They exhibit bilateral symmetry. They have a post-anal tail for balancing. Closed circulatory system. A dorsal hollow nerve cord is present. Pair of pharyngeal gill slits that take part in circulation of water and also involved in respiration. In higher chordates, they only occur during embryonic stage. The three subphylum include Urochordata, the Cephalochordata, and we'll have the Vertebrata. Basically, when we talk about the chordates, they are further subdivided into two groups, that is the Protochordata and the Craniata or the Vertebrata. So let us discuss about the classification. So here there is a schematic representation showing the classification of chordata into the first group, that is Protochordata or Acraniata, the ones where the cranium is absent. The Craniata is further subdivided into two subphylum, that is Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Gnathostomata comprises of the superclass, that is Pisces, which includes chondrocyte, osteocytes, and the superclass Tetrapoda, which includes the class Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and Mammalia. Firstly, we will discuss about the group that is Protochordata or Acraniata. It is referred to as Acraniata or Protochordata because cranium is absent. It basically comprises of members which are marine. It is further subdivided into two subphylum, Uro and Cephalochordata. The basic difference between Uro and Cephalochordates is that the body of Urochordates is bag-like, whereas that of Cephalochordate it is fish-like. In case of Urochordate, the notochord is present in tail region of larva, which disappears in adult. Whereas in Cephalochordates, notochord is present from the head to the tail region and it persists throughout life. The examples of the Urochordata include Herdmania dolilum, whereas that of the Craniata includes the Amphioxus or also Branchiostoma. Now talking about Craniata or Vertebrata, where notochord is replaced by bony or cartilaginous vertebrate. Now Craniata is further subdivided into two subphylum, Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Agnatha are jawless vertebrates. That means the jaws are absent. Whereas Gnathostomata, they have jaws. They exhibit the presence of jaws. Agnathostomata basically comprises of Cyclostomata, the class. So it comprises of class Cyclostomata. Now, when we talk about the cyclostomes, they are jawless fishes. They also are ectoparasite on some fishes. Now let us move on to the characteristic difference between Protochordata and the Craniata. So Acraniata and Craniata. Talking about the Protochordata, they have notochord but it does not form vertebral column. Whereas here in case of vertebrata, it is replaced by vertebral column. Protochordates, which include uro and cephalochordates, they are marine. Here when we talk about these organisms, they have the ventral muscular heart, they have kidneys in case of vertebrates, there is a presence of it. Basically, when we talk about the vertebrates, it includes two classes, that is it further includes the two subphylum, basically, that is Agnatha and Gnathostomata, which comprises of the jawless and the vertebrates which have jaw, whereas Protochordata comprises of uro and cephalochordata. So Agnatha and Gnathostomata, they are the subphylums of the group Vertebrata. So this is the diagrammatic representation underlined, which explains the protochordate and the vertebrates. Now talking about the class Cyclostomata, which comes under Agnatha, there is the subphylum and the phylum Craniata. When we talk about Cyclostomata, the examples include hagfish, lamprey. They are parasites on fishes. They have elongated body. They possess sucking and circular mouth. Single-sex discharge gametes in coelomate. They have cranium and vertebral column. The notochord is persistent, which will be present throughout the life. They are basically marine, and they may spawn into the fresh water. That was about the class Cyclostomata. Now talking about the chondrocytes and the osteocytes, which are the class which is grouped under the superclass, that is Pisces. Now when we talk about the chondrocytes and the osteocytes, they include the marine fishes, and here the osteocytes, that's the freshwater or marine fishes, are included in it. Chondrocytes, they basically are cartilaginous fishes, where the chondroblasts are the cells of the cartilage, whereas the osteoblasts, they are the bony cells. In case of chondrocytes, they do not have the swim bladder and mouth is ventral, whereas in case of the bony fishes, there is a swim bladder which is present and the mouth is terminal. Here in the cartilaginous fishes, the fertilization is internal and they are viviparous, whereas in the bony fishes, they are oviparous, exhibiting the external fertilization. The chondrocytes, they include ray fishes which have electric organ, sting in the stingray, but here no such electric organs they are found when we talk about osteocytes. The chondrocytes and the osteocytes, the diagrammatic representation, the morphological differences between the fishes can be seen. The presence of mouth, which is located in case of chondrocytes, it is ventral, whereas when we talk about the osteocytes, so it is terminal. Talking about these fishes, basically the examples of the chondrocytes, they include the scolidium, that's dogfish, sawfish, stingray, torpedoes. The bony fishes, basically they include the hilsa, salmon, pomfret, mackerel, etc. Now let us talk about the class Amphibia, which comes under superclass Tetrapoda. Amphibians, they are where when we talk about amphibios, so bios means living and amphi means both in land as well as water. They've got two phases in the life cycle, that is adult and larvae. Larval stage is aquatic and adult is terrestrial. They require water for the purpose of fertilization, which is external. Like example, frog, it will release the sperm and the egg in the water body. So the sperm, that's the male gamete, and the eggs, they are released in the water body. Fertilization will take place externally. Body of the amphibians, that is divided into head and trunk. There's no presence of neck. They've got moist skin and carry out cutaneous respiration. The tympanum replaces the ear. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tract open up into a common chamber which is called as cloaca, that's present on the exterior surface. So when we talk about the amphibians, they are further subdivided into the various orders: Apoda, Urodela, and Ura, and the examples include Rana tigrina, toad, hyla. Reproduction, the sexes are separate, the females are oviparous, and the larval stage, that's the tadpole. The eggs are basically mesolecithal, which have the yolk content. The heart is three-chambered, having two auricles and one ventricle. The kidney is mesonephric. The age of amphibians was found during the Carboniferous period. These are the basic characteristic features of the class Amphibia. They are they are cold-blooded. That means the internal body temperature will not change with the internal body temperature gets altered or changes with the change in the external environment. They've got 10 pair of cranial nerves. Respiration could be through skin. In case of the adults, which are terrestrial, it is through lungs and even through gills. So this is the diagrammatic view of Rana tigrina. Toad, salamander, tree frog, hyla. These are the few examples of amphibians. Now talking about the reptiles. Why they are called as reptile? Because the Latin term repitum, that refers to crawl or creep. Therefore, they are referred to as the crawling animals. The golden age of reptiles was during the Mesozoic era. The study of reptiles is referred to as herpetology. They are the first true land vertebrates, and their body is divided into head, trunk, and tail. The scales are present on the skin. So they have got scaly skin. There's a presence of a post-anal tail. They do not have external ear opening. There's presence of 5 digits. Cold-blooded organisms. The heart is three-chambered, comprising of 2 auricles and a ventricle. They are carnivorous. Example includes the turtle, tortoise, tree lizard, crocodile, alligators, hemidactylus, poisonous snake. So these are the pictorial representation of reptiles. Now discussing about aves. When we talk about aves, we are basically discussing about birds. So the study of aves is referred to as ornithology. The characteristic feature of this group is that they've got streamlined body and body is covered with feathers. The body is divided into head, trunk, and comprises of limbs. Most of the birds, they can fly, but some are flightless, like ostrich, emu, kiwi. The body is divided into head, neck, trunk, and tail. The bones are hollow, referred to as pneumatic bones, which helps them in flight. They are warm-blooded. They maintain a constant body temperature and exhibit homeostasis. Heart is 4-chambered, which comprises of 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. They lack teeth. Alimentary canal has crop and gizzard, that is for storage, and the grinding teeth. They've got sharp eyesight. Oil glands are present at the base of tail. They are oviparous as they lay eggs. Example include crow, parrot, owl, etc. Now the last class, that's Mammalia. The class is referred to as Mammalia because it's derived from the Latin word mammary, which refers to mammary gland. So the unique characteristic feature is the presence of mammary glands, and the mammary glands are modified into sweat glands. Body is covered by hairs except whale. They are milk-producing mammals. They've got skin, has hairs. There's presence of external ear. 32 pairs of teeth are present. 32 teeth are present in adults. Four-chambered heart with having two auricles and two ventricles. The diaphragm divides the body cavity into upper chest and lower chest. Talking about the circulatory system, as discussed, they have two auricles and ventricles. Complete double circulation occurs. RBCs, they are enucleated. Exceptions are camel and llama. Basically, the organisms, they are viviparous. Parental care is taken. Development is direct. Examples include Homo sapiens, blue whale, monkey, equus. So in this module, we had carried out a detailed discussion on the chordata, phylum Chordata, and its classification. Hopefully, you must have garnered all the concepts thoroughly. Thank you for being a patient listener.